Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you doing today? What I want to cover today is something that's been under the radar for a little while, and I think more people should see this, and it kind of, leads into why there's huge recruiting problems across our military and DoD. So, what I want to do is I want to share this report with you, and then I'm going to show you a video that kind of, backs up and shows, gives you receipts for everything that I'm going to talk about here. So the Army won't say if anyone was punished for training that labeled anti-abortion and animal rights groups as terrorists. So what happened was that they had some classes that the military that was given out that was incorrect. So I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this, and this is an Army investigation incident at Fort Liberty found a base employee had inaccurately labeled several organizations, including anti-abortion groups, National Right to Life, and Operation Rescue, and others such as Earth First, the Earth Liberation Front, and the Animal Liberation Front, and People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, as terrorist organizations. That's right, you heard it. The Army had taught that some of these organizations were terrorist organizations. Now, the report says Fort Liberty, but those of y'all who are not familiar with the new names, that is at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And the craziest part was that the report that they did, the IG report or the investigation, that they had trained almost 10 or as many as 10,000 soldiers for this training. And then it went on for years and years and years, and nobody ever said anything about it until somebody leaked it online. And then all of a sudden it was a huge problem. Right. So this article kind of goes through all the details of it and who was responsible. It doesn't give names. It just says a junior member. We don't know if it's military or if it's civilian. With military members, if you're punished under UCMJ, that can be made public. So what you're going to see is you're going to see on the video that I'm going to share with you that the general refuses to say if there's any corrective action that was taken or not. Now, General Matlock, the guy you're going to see here who's going to be testifying, is the Army G357. The G357 for the Army is the be all know all for everything. They set policy, they set standards, they have thousands and thousands of different roles and responsibilities that they do. But General Matlock is the general of it. So he's the one who has to testify here before Congress. So let me go ahead and share this video with you so you can kind of see what we're going to do is I'm going to break it down and kind of stop and like go through it. Right. And big credit out to Libs at TikTok, who actually is the one who shared this video. So here we go.
For a moment. This training started in 2017. It lasted until a few months ago. 10,000 soldiers were taught that national.
So what he's saying, this training started in 2017. The training didn't get realized until guess when? Yeah, that's right, 2024. That's a long time.
Right to life was a potential domestic terrorist threat, or that soldiers with state-issued pro-life license plates were a threat. How in the world does something like that go on for so long and neither of you or anyone in leadership ever catches it? General, let's start with you.
Chairman Banks, thank you for the.
So again, this is Lieutenant General Matlock. He's the Army G357, and he's going to give a very posh answer. And what the chairman's getting at is, hey, you trained this for almost 10 years. How did nobody report it at all? No officers, no NCOs, no nothing. And what that alludes to is, were people scared to come forward and say, hey, this is wrong training? Or is it just a lack of, people caring or even really paying attention to the training? That's a question that doesn't get answered in this. And I kind of wish they got to that. But here we go. We'll continue.
The question. So I want to emphasize again, these training materials were improperly developed and should have never.
Why did it go on for so long? Why, I understand. I appreciate you acknowledging that, but why?
Chairman Banks, the failure was in anyone providing feedback or any supervisor not observing the training and taking immediate correction. There's no excuse for how long it lasted.
So what he's doing now is he's blaming the chain of commands within Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty, however you want to call it, for not reporting this and saying, hey, this is wrong. Now, you train over 10,000 soldiers. I guarantee you there's officers, there's NCOs, you have warrant officers that are all going through this training, including DA civilians, because they have to do the same training that the military does. Sometimes a little different, but these kind of classes, they do the same. So he's basically putting this on that chain of command there at Fort Bragg. Like, hey, no one said anything. We didn't know about it because it was locally made. It wasn't an Army program that we provide, which they do sometimes for training. You can go to an Army website and pull training off to be able to give to your units. Continuing on.
Doctor, I mean, it's
I
crazy.
I would echo that.
The doctor just echoes that.
So the follow up to that is, has anyone been held accountable for it? This is the United States Army. This is a training that went on since 2017. You're acknowledging that y'all missed it. Any accountability at all?
Chairman Banks, in the conduct of the investigation after it was completed, the commander directed corrective actions, which have all been completed.
But
at Fort
accountability,
So corrective action means some kind of training, maybe UCMJ, depending on how General Matlock is going to use corrective training, which most people in the military know what corrective training is. It's not UCMJ. You're not losing rank or pay over this. You're going to get a letter that says, hey, you messed up. Here's some stuff I want you to do, training or something like that. And then you can continue on with your career. So this is what he's talking about right here.
You're the United States Army. Has anyone been held accountable?
The commander further delegated responsibility for any additional actions to the garrison commander.
How about the soldier who?
So what's crazy is he says that the commander delegated to garrison commander. Garrison commander is the officers in charge of living and quality of life on the base, right? And a lot of the departments fall under the garrison commander, your SHARP, EAO, that kind of thing. The crazy part, though, is I think what he's not saying is that, hey, we realized we messed up. We knew about it and we just didn't say anything. And if we punish somebody, take their rank or try to ruin their career, they could have a very, very strong case on why they shouldn't be kicked out or face any kind of punishment because, hey, we did this. You knew about it. You didn't say anything. So you're just as guilty as me, as the person who made it.
Created the training to begin with. Has he been held accountable?
The individual who created the training has received corrective training, has been retrained as a trainer, and continues to perform.
Corrective training, but accountability.
So in case you missed that, he just said, hey, the person who made this got retrained and continues to train as we speak, which again, in any other context, this would be like, no, absolutely not. You're not going to train again. You did this improper training that affected thousands and thousands of soldiers. How could we leave you to do this? If this was a senior leader, a commander or a sergeant major or something like that, they'd be fired. They'd be replaced immediately. And how come there's no kind of accountability to get rid of this, to let other soldiers know, hey, this is not right. Like, this is completely wrong. Nope. We're just going to continue and drive on. So here we go.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to talk about specific accountability actions because those actions reside.
Why not?
With the
you're the United States Army. No, and you're acknowledging that mistakes were made, but has anyone been held accountable for that mistake?
Nope, nobody, I bet.
Again, Chairman, I'm not going to describe specific actions taken because those actions reside with the chain of command, and it's our policy not to discuss those.
So let me ask you this quick. 10,000 soldiers were told that National Right to Life was a potential terrorist group, and soldiers with pro-life license plates were a potential terrorist threat. Have those 10,000 soldiers been told that they were misinformed?
Chairman,
so that kind of goes into another point. Everything you hear in the news right now about misinformation, this, misinformation, that, and the congressman's got a really good point. Hey, has there been any kind of notification to the soldiers like, hey, we misinformed you. This is not right. This is not correct. We're sorry. We messed this up. You're going to see, no, not at all.
the investigation concluded based on surveys from the soldiers and also by speaking to the soldiers that at the end of the training, they did not have the misperception about the nature of those organizations.
I don't know what that means.
Despite
have those 10,000 soldiers been told that they've been misinformed?
Chairman, they have not specifically been told they've been misinformed. The investigation concluded based on a survey of soldiers who received the training that they did not perceive that those organizations were terrorist organizations. Again, the training materials were very poorly developed, and we fully acknowledge that failure.
Doctor, begin by.
So again, no accountability. They don't go back. And the last part I want to hit on is they said they sent out surveys to 10,000 soldiers. Let me tell you how many surveys actually get done in the military. Less than 30%. Half your soldiers don't have access to a computer, nor have the time to be able to get on and get it. And I seriously doubt that they were able to reach back to all 10,000 soldiers. And I bet you half of them probably didn't want to say anything because, hey, I was a leader or I was a superior who should have said something and I didn't. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think this is horrible. I think this is a mockery of the military. This is what happens all the time. Now, sometimes it makes national news, sometimes it doesn't. And also this kind of, goes to, again, like I said earlier, your recruitment problem. So you have your people that are in the military and they see mistakes like this happen and nothing gets done. But if they make a mistake, they're out the door. They're kicked out, many different instances you can go over, but something I wanted to share with y'all. I thought it was very important, especially in the kind of time that we are now with misinformation, everything going on in the world right now. But again, please like, share, and subscribe. Give me comments what you think of this video. Do you agree with what the Army did, or do you think it's a complete mockery? Appreciate it. Thanks.